Steve?
Coach, kind of another tough day offensively, but you got that big clutch hit again from Reese Sullivan with the backside. Yeah, maybe just kind of take us through those early innings and what it felt like to get that big one.
Well, it felt really good to get the big one, I'll tell you that. Tip your hat to their pitcher. We didn't know a lot about him, young freshman coming in, and he throws one of those high vertical break balls, and he just stayed at the top of the zone with it all day. I don't know if we'll see that much vertical break all year, kind of like an Ethan Small, and so he was good early, and we weren't good. I'll give him credit, but also we got to get better. But Pico pitched great defensively. We kept ourselves in the ball game, and we got a big hit late.
Benjamin?
Yeah. Noah Sullivan obviously coming through. Was that just sort of, were you guys were just happy to see anybody else coming out of someone coming out of their bullpen?
Yeah, I guess, we early on I thought we built up his pitch count. We were striking out so much in the first couple innings. I thought his pitch count would rise, and then he really settled in and started getting some quicker outs. But it was good to get into their bullpen. I think, and we get in our bullpen. I think our bullpen pitched great. I think that's probably the difference in the ball game.
Robbie?
And Pico again, just cruising in his start and gave you a chance to make that comeback, only give it up a run. I mean, what did you think about how he was able to control what he was able to control out there?
I thought he was great. I mean, he was really, really good. Commands the fastball so well right now and really starting to feel that slider. And it does. It gives you a chance. I told the team after the game, it's when you play really good pitch and play really good defense, you got a chance to win every game. And you got to keep fighting and stay in the fight. We'll get going offense. We got a good offense. We just, I don't know, for the last two games it hadn't felt good. But we'll get them right.
Steve?
Luke gets the save there. Why was he the right call there in the ninth? Was it just mainly because of the left-handers?
Well, no, he only had to face the one lefty, but they hit a lot of homers. They swing like this, and Luke is vertical ride, so Luke's at the top of the zones, and we felt like we could pitch over it a little bit. And the umpire, which is, I think he had the national championship game last year. He's really good. He was right on, like he wouldn't. I think Luke was about a ball or so up, and he was right on it, just trying to get him to chase a little bit with some of those guys trying to hit the ball out of the park.
Doug?
Coach, Lucas Buckner got caught looking late there, but he had two more hits today. What are you thinking about him now?
I think they take the 2 hits away since they didn't get the bunt down. So I told him after the game, because he's our best bunter, and he just got excited and started running down the line. But he's a good player. I thought he made a great play in the 7th with 2 outs and a runner at second. Made that play up the middle. I thought that was a real rangy play and a tough play. He's a really good kid, a really good player, and you're going to see a lot of Lucas Buckner.
Sam?
Can't remember exactly what inning it was, but it was early in the game. You had a couple guys on base, and High fills up and he lays down a bunt. What was just kind of the thought process behind that in that situation?
We have a verbal for bump for hit, and he thought he heard it. But you're supposed to see my eyes when you do it. So he came back, and I was like, I didn't say a word. So it was kind of a goof up between us. I'll take the credit for the goof up, but it wasn't something planned, and he wasn't. He just thought he heard it. Some early season stuff you got to get in just playing, and with the crowd and everything.
Benjamin?
I wasn't happy. So,
Steve?
Bullpen again. I mean, we talked all fall and spring that this bullpen is probably going to be the strength of the team. What are you seeing right now that's making those guys successful?
Well, I'm really pleased at the poise. I know they got stuff, but getting out there and pitching on the rubber, and Luke Dodson having to close the game, and we all know it's not easy to do that. He gets the first 2 easy, and then he's out there fighting his tail off. I think they're all still learning. I think Dane came in, did a great job. Chase Hungate's been out there, so I'm not worried about his composure. But I thought all the guys, did a really good job.
Robbie?
Speaking of the bullpen, haven't seen Gavin Black yet. What's his status?
He's good. He's just not, he hadn't had the opportunity yet. So, but he may pitch this weekend, so you can see him depending on the game.
Steve?
And to win a game like that, it almost feels like you kind of pulled one out of the fire. I know you prefer to get the big lead early and just kind of coast there at the end. But what kind of lessons you learned in that situation?
That's what I told him afterwards. Is good teams win late, and we've seen a lot of good teams here have to come in, and it's hard to finish games, especially when it becomes SEC season, and you got to still be in the fight. And we've been talking a lot about being in the fight, competing, and getting after it. And I think you learn a lot there, even though I think all our hitters would say the first 7 innings weren't very good, and their pitcher being a reason of that. But I think you can walk out of here today and build off of it.
All right, Steve.
We'll start with you. I know it's kind of a frustrating day for about 7 innings there, but what was your mindset going up to the plate there before that backside gap double? just kind of preparing yourself that, hey, this may be the moment in this ballgame?
Yeah, luckily baseball's a long game. I got 4 at bats today, 3 really bad ones, but the last one that really mattered. Goat was just saying the guy throws a lot of sliders, so I kind of just sat that, and luckily got a good pitch to hit.
Robbie?
Pico, I know weather like this can be really difficult for offenses, but it can be difficult for pitchers too. I mean, what was it like out there, and how were you able to kind of command what you were able to do out there today?
In between innings, I was going in and, putting the hot back on my arm. But Parker kept saying that really it's a bad day for the hitters. It's all about a mentality, I think. Just doing what I do, I guess, trying to do what I do and not really thinking about the weather. So, yeah.
Benjamin?
A couple parts of this one. First, does the frustration just start to build in the dugout offensively when you're coming off a shutout loss on Tuesday, and then getting carved up a little bit by their freshmen? And then were you just sort of happy to see somebody else coming out of their bullpen for your last at bat there in the 8th?
I mean, yeah, our offense hasn't been exactly what we have wanted, and you can feel a little bit of tension building. But we have the best coaches in the country. We have the best hitters in the country, and it's only a matter of time until it starts clicking.
Steve?
Pico, everybody sees you kind of mild-mannered. I think we were at Sanford last year when you were screaming at the guy to get in the box, and then today you're out there pumping your fist, kind of showing some emotion. How have you become so comfortable maybe letting the competitive side of your personality kind of come out of duty number?
I think it's just confidence and trusting, what I've done or the work I put in. But I try not to get too high or too low. But the guy was saying some crazy things, so I had to,
Robbie?
Pico, you still got a long season to go, and you're going to face some really tough teams, but you are kind of the guy, the Friday night guy for this team now, and that takes a big jump. But what do you think has been the biggest adjustment for you getting into that mode that you are going to be the guy that goes out there first this year?
I think really just trying to get in a routine and do the same thing over and over again. I feel like probably after Virginia last year, I kind of got off my routine I'd gotten into, and I kind of had to find it again in the fall. So just being able to create that routine has helped me out a lot.
Doug?
Pico, you went out there in the 7th, had 82 pitches in. Was there a conversation between the 6th and the 7th about what was going to happen in the 7th?
I really thought that Parker was going to come in and tell me I was done, but I knew that guy was on deck, and he said, "You got one batter, go out and do your job." So I was pretty excited. I got to go out there and do that again.
Standing Pete?
No, I know you pitched a little bit as well. How do you appreciate what people the command showed the last 2 hours?
I've faced him plenty times, so I know how hard it is to face him. Just having a guy that commands the zone and controls the game every Friday gives us as an offense such a freeing feeling. We weren't great today, but the win is all that matters.
Steve?
Kind of along those lines, I know you've seen a couple of good pitchers this week, and you're going to see as good or better in the SEC. When you're having those innings where it feels like everybody's scuffling, what is kind of your role in the dugout, or do you need to say anything when these games are kind of stalemate a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we have really good coaches. Coach Goat and Coach Lem are always on us, just making sure we stay locked in. It only takes one inning for us as an offense for us to really get it going. Luckily, we got it done in the 8th there, and we were able to pull away with the win.
Steve?
Now, along those lines, so you mentioned Coach Gotro. What does he do pregame to kind of get you guys prepared for pitching staff and maybe in-game adjustments? What's that aspect conversation like?
Yeah, so we go over every pitcher, usually the starter and 3 or 4 pen guys, and we find what their best pitch is and how they're going to attack us, whether we attack a certain pitch or attack zones, or whether we move up in the box, move on the plate, whatever. We're going to find and do anything that we can to win.
Benjamin?
Yeah, Pico, I know it can be difficult to strike out as many as you have without issuing any walks, but you're 22 strikeouts and no walks so far through your first 2 starts. So how have you sort of just been able to maintain command of all your pitches and be accurate and still keep them off balance?
Just working with Coach Parker, I would say, just trying to be consistent with my mechanics and
throughout the week, I'm really trying to fine tune everything. So once I go out there, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just kind of doing it.
Robbie?
Noah, as a hitter yourself, I'm sure you've found yourself watching Lucas and kind of his actions and things like that. What impresses you about him as a young guy to come in there? I know, Coach Lamonis wasn't happy with his last bunt attempt, but 4 hits in his last 2 games. What really impresses you about him, what he does?
I think the biggest thing is just how composed he is. It's like he's been here like 2-3 years already. He knows how to work, he knows how to play, and he's about as good as it gets.
All right, thank you guys.